Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Joan here, and I'm laughing because literally I was going to get ready and record this video, and there was daylight, and then I ended up getting stuck on a video call with my cousin, and so now here I am, and it's nighttime. And this video is going to be literally about my cousin, the one that I just spoke to. And she has no idea that I was going to do a video about her. And I thought it was really important that I should shine some light on the people that have made an impact in my life. And so during the story time segment, I thought, why not choose her as the first person that I reflect on and give some words about. And she's probably watching this and is like, oh no, what is she going to say? So, what's the introduction? I am someone who was very overwhelmed when I was younger because I only have one sibling, I have one sister, and every time I would go fly to the Philippines, I would be met with a lot of family members, a lot of cousins, and it's 10 plus. And maybe to people that might not be a lot, or maybe that's too many, but for me, to have only one sister and then to be just surrounded by so many cousins, I just was taken aback. And ate means older sister in Tagalog, and in the US we say Monica, but in, I guess, the Filipino way, they say Monica. So I was always used to saying Ate Monica and not thinking twice about it until I watched the French popular show, and there's a character named Monica, and I was like, wait, isn't that how you spell Ate Monica's name? So amongst all our cousins, Ate Monica is one of the oldest. Sorry to say, but she is one of the oldest cousins. And then I am one of the youngest cousins. And so I always felt that there was this gap besides the age gap, but I just felt that maybe we wouldn't relate with things because she was older, and I just thought that maybe she wouldn't want to listen to little me because what do I have to know? She's older, so she probably thinks I'm not cool and things like that. And I've told her this once, and I'm going to say it again, which is now going to make it solid that I am telling the world. But I've always looked up to her. And amongst all of our cousins, she's the one that I always wanted to be like. And it was just because she was someone that I always thought was very pretty, was always beautiful. And she's probably cringing right now that I'm saying that. And she was someone that I always felt that was the most ambitious. She was the one that always cared about whatever it is that I was doing and was always very caring. And in pictures, like old photo albums, you I could always like see photos of just like us hanging out or sitting together and things like that. So that meant that like we were close. And I don't know. For some reason, I always just thought that maybe we wouldn't be, but in reality, we were. And every time I flew to the Philippines, it was very important that my parents have instilled in us, me and my sister, that if anything were to happen, it's important to know your family over there. And so every time I would go, it would be awkward because it's like, oh, like starting over again, building that relationship, trying to get to know each other again. There wasn't like social media where you can always like contact each other. And then it's like when the shyness goes away, then it's like, oh, we have like a ton of fun. And then I have to leave, and then it's like a whole year again of not talking again, or years, and then it's just starting all over again. And I know for a fact that there's many people who were born here in America and they never been to the Philippines until maybe when they once they get older they decide that they want to see it for themselves. And I was very privileged and fortunate enough that even once I turned, I think, 2, my dad already brought me to the Philippines. And every other year I would go just because it was just very important, like I said, for me to know my family members. And so every time I would hang out with my cousins, I would always look for Ate Monica. And she didn't live in Manila or Maynila. And so I would always look for her because I would be surrounded by all my other cousins. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't care for them, but I would always look for her, and then I would always be bummed out if she wasn't there. And then whenever I would hear she was not there for some reason, like she wasn't free or whatever, I would just be sad because I just would look forward to hanging out with her again after not spending time and things like that. And there's just some connection that we created that we just always just bonded and connected and things like that. So I ended up now present day going to the UAE because there was a time where for many, I don't know if it was years, but I got off Facebook. I still am not on it, and I didn't want to have any connection with my family in the Philippines. I just didn't want to get judged because if anyone knows, like when people are on social media, they just like zoom in on your face when it's like there's a picture posted about you. And yeah, you could say that, oh, like it's nice to see like what's going on in people's lives, but I feel like every time I'm posted, my family members always just want to know like if I gained weight or like how do I look now and things like that. And that just made me feel very uncomfortable to the point that I got off Facebook entirely because that's like the main social media platform that everyone uses over there. I didn't want to talk to my family and I felt bad, but I had to do what worked for me. And then there was this one day where my mom was talking to her sister, who is Ate Monica's mom. And then I think, from what I recall, we just happened to see each other on that video call. And then it was like, hey, like, what the heck? Like, where have you been? And things like that, to the point that we decided to start communicating again. And so during, I don't even know if it's a pandemic, but it's just like we just started talking again and we would talk every day, literally every day. And despite the time difference, the UAE to the US and things like that, we talk all the time, be up to date about each other's lives. And I really appreciate her because despite whatever is going on in her life, she still makes time to communicate with me. And till this day, she really inspires me as a person because in our family, because I'm from the US and because I'm the oldest child that represents our family that lives in the US, I feel like I have this pressure to be on a pedestal all the time, to like be the best, to do the most. Like I should have this like amazing, handsome, model looking husband and like have children already and things like that. And that hasn't happened yet or will happen. I don't even know. And so for me, it was like the opposite. Like I always looked up to her. I always thought she would, you know, experience this life that, people thought I would have. And so for me, there's times where I felt like I didn't relate to her life now, which is being a mom and, having a family of her own. Like I'm not at that stage yet. But the fact that she is a mom and a wife and she is like doing the most, like she calls me a multitasker, but she's the one who's like doing the most and like working, this job where she works at the palace in the UAE, and she's just I just always wish for her the best. I always want her to achieve the unbelievable, to do more than I know she can possibly do, because she's so freaking talented. Not just in like being a pastry chef, like she's someone who can like make anything, nothing, to something. And when I saw her like do the birthday decorations for her daughter, I was just like bewildered, like, whoa, like she really would make stuff, and you would think they would be like from Pinterest or something like that. And it's like, no, she just did it herself. And maybe to her, she's like, oh, those are things that are like nothing. They're like little things here and there. Like I hear her in the back of my mind. But for real, like if I could do everything that she does in a day, I would be so exhausted. And I only do the things that works for me right now. And she is like the one who's like carrying the torch in her family, like not just the family that she has in the UAE, family in the Philippines, like she's doing the most. And I wish more people knew that and would appreciate the things that she does. And some people don't even need that. But I appreciate her, and I wanted to say that. And I know she watches my videos, so she's going to definitely be very shocked that I'm talking about her. And out of all people that I could give a shout out to, I chose her first because she is someone that has been in my life since I was very young. And I don't think she realizes, or maybe she does, and maybe we just don't talk about it, but how much of an impact she has on me. And I try my best to not be a pain and understand that, because she's a super mom, because she's doing the most, she's not always going to be available, but when she is, she will follow her word, where she will do her best to be there for me. And I don't have that many people in my life that I trust and I look out for and things like that, but she is definitely one of those people. And the last thing I would ever want or would break my heart would be if we weren't okay. And the fact that she allowed me into her own home to let me stay there to figure out whatever it is that I'm feeling, and hopefully I just get better. I appreciate that, because not many people, just because your family doesn't mean like, oh, like you get to stay and live with me. She does already a lot, and then she also allowed me to be a part of that. And so I try my best always to lessen the burden, try to not add more problems, trying to find ways to make solutions in her life. And even if she doesn't ask for it, I just feel like there's no one in her life that does that. And if I can, then I'll do my best to be of support. And yeah, I don't know. This video just kind of like went super sentimental, and I'm trying my best not to get too emotional, but I wish I could have something to share in regard to like her social media and things like that, but she's not really active on that. Um, but if you were to see the things that she would make, like cakes and things like that, or just anything, or just see her like interact with her children, you would just always be in awe, because I don't want to cry. She is a great person. She definitely is someone who, like I said, I aspire to be. And hopefully, if one day down the line I were to have my own family, hopefully my kids would be able to hang out with her children. And I think one big wish I have is that I wish we were able to be in the same place And I'm not saying for like a month or two. I'm talking about like, I wish it didn't have to always be like long distance where I'm like flying there all the time. I wish it would be like where I could just drive and hang out with them like on a weekend, or we could always like hang out and just grab something to eat or something like that. Like it wouldn't always have to be like video calls and things like that. I just wish it was more convenient for us to spend time together and build the bond and the relationship that we already have. I think that's something that's always been missing, but it's like, what can you do? We just got to work with what we got. And so, but I always imagine those things like it would be nice to spend time always together and do things and stuff like that. So, anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that. And Ate Monica, if you're watching, I just want to say a big thank you for being a part of my life. You don't really have a choice, but you didn't have to always try your best to be there for me, but you do. And I'm trying my best to be patient and be a good cousin and to just never let our relationship fall apart, and to always be your rock when you feel like you have no one there that's beside you. Okay, that's it for all. Stay tuned to the next video. You already know what I'm gonna say. Sayonara. It's the end of the video, so don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, it will help me in the long run. Okay, bye.